Are we kind of ready? Sort of, kind of? No? All right, well, I'll noodle. Oh, let's sing this. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love. Can you bring up the piano a little bit? Into the heavens. And it returns to me. That's the whole thing there. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. How about joy? You want to do that? I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens.
Good.
And
that sounds good.
Returns.
I think that's good.
Do you all know the movements to this? I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. A little hula. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. Let's do I send peace. I send peace over the mountains, over the mountains. I send peace over the sea, little hula, over the sea. And I send peace into the heavens, and it returns to me over your heart. It returns to me. I send my power. I send my power over the mountains. Power. I send my power over the sea. Over the sea. I send my power into the heavens. It returns to me. And it returns to me. All right, I send my love. Last time. I send my love over the mountains. Send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. And it returns to me, and it returns to me, and it returns to me, and it returns to me.
Yay, thank you for covering for me there while I got my microphone on. Please stand and join us for the opening song.
You are welcome here, you are welcome here, you are welcome here. You are welcome here, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome. All right, first verse. Our arms are wide open. Our arms are wide open. There's room for everyone. There's room for everyone. Wherever you're going, wherever you're from, you are home. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Say what? You are welcome. Let someone know. Look around the room and say, you are welcome. You know what these are. You don't have to look at the screen. You are welcome. You are welcome. All right, second verse. Wherever, whatever you've been through, whatever you've been through, you found us. You found us somehow. Wherever you are on your journey now. What is it now? You are home. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome heart. Give that to yourself. Say I. I am welcome here. 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 And I am welcome here.
You may be seated. Please go ahead and silence your cell phone and get ready for our meditation song and opening prayer in just a moment.
We are connected by the heart. Where do you end? And where do I start? Anything you pray for, if fear is in your way, I'll be here to listen to anything you have to say. 'Cause your prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too. Whatever you pray for, I pray too. You're a part of me and I'm a part of you. And your prayer is my prayer too. My prayer too. Just sing that last part again. Your prayer is my prayer too. Your prayer is my prayer too. Whatever you pray for, I pray for too. 'Cause you're a part of me and I'm a part of you. And your prayer is my prayer. Your prayer is my prayer. And your prayer is my prayer too.
And so, in this sacred space, I invite you to join me as I go to the deepest, most real part of myself. That part within, deep within, that always was, and that always, always will be. And there, oh there, I find God. I feel within me that power, that love, that inexpressible beauty and joy and peace. I find the source of all to supply all my needs. I feel that this power and know it is alive as the life force everywhere, effervescing, photosynthesizing, breathing, evaporating, all those processes of life living everywhere. God, life, one. And I am one with every atom vibrating everywhere in the universe with this same life. And so now, knowing that this power within me resounds all around me, responds to my thinking, I speak my word. I speak my word for every person within the sound of my voice to open perhaps as never before to this life force, this expansion that loves to happen, that loves to share itself. And as I look within, as I know this is true for me, it is true for every single person that this oneness supplies them. And so I give thanks knowing that whatever we think we are, we are always more. And to explore that more today in guidance and support in exploring these mysteries of within ourselves and everywhere, I give thanks for our Reverend Mary and for this service and for everyone receiving what they came for. And I give thanks and I allow the law to let this be. And so it is.
Your
Amen.
prayer is my prayer too. And your prayer is my prayer too.
Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you, Karen. You're a vision in purple.
I am a vision.
Yes, it's a wonderful thing. We are now entering into the second week of our pledge program for 2022. And as you know, the theme is A Star is Born. And each week, we're doing one of the scenes from a one-act play that was written by actually a Santa Rosa practitioner quite a few years ago. So as we begin, whoops. No, not yet. I want to go back. Go back there. Yeah. So this week, we're moving to add one more character to the scene from what you saw last week. So without further ado, I want to bring up the cast of A Star is Born so that you can enjoy scene 2. Voice 1 and 2, you use the microphone over there.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you set your goals.
Wait, let me see it, Elizabeth. I don't think it's on. Can I see it? Can I see the microphone?
Yes, you may.
I think it's not
Take
on.
3 giant steps.
Hello, hello. It is? Okay, just hold it right up close.
I have my mask on,
All right, go for it, hon.
Well, you set your goals. You made a commitment and you honored it. We wrote and rewrote the script. And now we're ready to produce. And I am so excited.
I'm feeling exactly the same way. It's amazing how alike we are. This is a glorious moment.
It's nice to hearing you talking so positively.
I'm happy that you're so pleased with the script.
Of course, now I have a new task. Of course, now I have a new task ahead of me. It seems that there is never any rest.
It's not working.
La, 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 la.
Yes, it's on.
Of course.
Here we are. Hallelujah.
Now I have a new task ahead of me. It seems there's never any rest. Now I need to audition the cast.
You must be looking forward to that.
A brand new adventure.
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm a little nervous about it, and I'm afraid the other people's input might ruin the way my life looks on stage. Relating to new people scares me. It's risky business.
Oh, all relationships are risky. Why not picture it turning out well?
Tell me, what do you propose to do about that?
I think I'll hire a casting director.
You called?
Wow, that was fast. How did you know I needed you? Oh, never mind. Everybody around here seems to know what I'm thinking. Now, let me see your credentials, please.
Well, I've done my homework. I've read all your script changes. You can trust me. I know your work very well.
I I think this guy sounds legit.
He sounds like he understands you.
You asked me to trust you? I don't know about that. It's hard for me to keep sight of myself in a relationship. I would prefer that you do it all. I'm scared.
Nope, doesn't work that way. I need your perspective. Just tell me what you want, and I'll get it for you. I've got a lot of connections around this town.
I knew I liked him.
This guy really knows how to communicate in a relationship.
So, here's the way it works. Go inside your soul and really decide how your characters will portray your life. I need you to be sure before I cast the players.
Well, what if I call my family and friends and ask their opinions?
No, no, no. For this play, the only important perspective is yours.
Yes, let's not let all the other characters run your life.
Please, be clear. How do you want your characters to behave?
Well, I want them to be my supporting and supportive actors. I want them to be in my life, yet be strong in their own lives. I want them to see me, acknowledge me, and appreciate me. And I want to be able to see animation in them. We need to be mutually aware, mutually admiring, and mutually respectful.
Because you're worth it?
You are worth it, you know. When you're kind to yourself, others are kind to you too.
Well, yes. I am worth it. I guess everything that's happened in my life is what brought me to today. Whether I thought of it as good or bad, I really have learned from it all.
That's it. Now you're getting it. Your beliefs about yourself and your relationships do create your life's roles. Now, I know I can work for you and attract the perfect cast.
How can I be sure everybody will commit to the project?
When you know, I'll know.
Now, this relationship is a really close one.
Yes, I'm sure they're going to go far with it. What a team.
Scene. Deborah, tie that ribbon right here next to this one. Well, yes, we have stars in our midst. Now, you all have a task this week. You've received your little production planner for week 2, and this is about casting the characters in your life. This is about how do you want the people in your life to show up? And as you practice that, it becomes clearer that the characters show up in your life the way you are. And so the work starts within, but you each got a sort of kaleidoscope prism thing today. This is like when you're looking for the facets of light in the people that you're casting in your life. You want to be sure that you can see the light. So it's not obscured with colors like a kaleidoscope. It's actually a prism that you can take outside and look into the light and see all the different colors. So this little goodie is just to remind you to keep looking for that light. And as you use your little production planner this week, you'll find there's a place each day to do a little piece of it, a little piece of what you want to develop and become to welcome into your life. So we're going to start developing that inside ourselves right now with our theme song. So you need to stand up and join us for this theme song that we're doing for the Pledge program. We're doing this every week, so you'll catch on to it as we go, but sing out. Amazingly awesome.
Oh, yes. Something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me today. Say that.
Something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me today.
Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Again, something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. I feel it. Something amazingly awesome. Do you believe this? It's going to happen to me today. Amen. Amen.
All right.
It's
Amen.
here. All right. Here we go. You ready?
Okay.
Put it in your body now. Move a little bit. Sing it again. Something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me today. All right, here's the verse now. I sing my little mantra. I'm going to get it in my head. Today is a party. I'm gonna leap on out of bed. And I start my day in this way, knowing everything is okay. I look for the good in everything. Makes me wanna sing. Let me hear you now. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Yeah. Second verse. And it's not out in the future. No, it's right before my eyes. The beauty, joy, and wonder. It's time I realize that every moment is a gift. All it takes is a slightest shift. See the good in everything. Make you wanna sing. Let's hear a three-part harmony now. Something amazingly awesome gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly now awesome. It's not a Kara Drucker song.
Happen to me today.
You don't have a purpose. You notice it matches the outfit. It's so important. Now, how come? What if I'm not really open to it? You say gratitude. Gratitude. But what if I'm not really feeling it? You say gratitude. Gratitude. I believe in the power of what I say will be. And I finally learned the lesson that gratitude is the key. Yeah. Now, here's what we say. You embody that amazingness. So take a deep breath. Put your hand on your heart. And you say this. You just say amazing, amazing. It's all amazing, amazing, amazing. It's all amazing. What? Amazing, amazing. It's all amazing. The good, the bad, and all. Amazing, amazing. It's all amazing. Now, amazingly awesome. It's gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. One more. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Let's turn to someone and say, you know what? Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today.
Something
Just tell 'em.
amazingly awesome
Just
is going to
tell 'em.
happen to me
Declare
today.
it.
And to you, too. All right.
Good job, you
Woo-hoo!
guys. Give yourselves a hand.
Oh, great. Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you, thank you. All right, so we're in week 2 of our 8-week pledge program. We will move to doing the specific pledges in week 7 of the program. What we're doing now is we're creating the consciousness of ourselves as this blessing in the world. So we're carrying on the theme of the year, which is timeless wisdom and evolutionary vision, right into this 8-week program of A Star is Born. And the truth is that every human being is a star when they're born. And throughout the course of our lives, we may forget who we are. In fact, most of us do, and maybe it's required. Maybe part of becoming an individual in the world is forgetting where you came from so that you can actually live this life fully. And then, of course, once you do start to forget who you were and become who you're here to be as this human life, then you have to remember who you were before. I'm not sure why, but that seems to be how it works. So we're in the process, now that we are here and we are someone, we are in the process of remembering our larger identity, which is not your body, it's not your brain, it's not your emotions or your history or your beliefs. No, there's something else that is the real essence of you. It is eternal, timeless, everlasting. And so in the meanwhile, while we're living out these lives in these body temples, we want to honor them because they're providing service to the Spirit to as long as they can. And then we let them go with love and we go on. But the essence of us is much more than the form that we are. And so when we look at the people in the world around us, the truth too is that we may forget who they are. Because they look like our mother, our partner, our boss, our kids, our neighbor, you know. But actually, there's really only one. The infinite presence is omnipresent everywhere in everything. So there's really only one. So when we look at the characters in our lives, what we want to be able to do is consider our influence in actually creating those characters in our lives. So the question is, you have characters in your life? You might have some unique folks. I know I do. And I love my unique folks in my life. Then I have some really sort of on the edges of my experience people in my life. Some of them are relatives, some of them are friends historically. And you look at those folks and you think, how the heck did they get here in my story? Who is this outlier over here? Why is this person in my story? You know, my life would be a lot easier if I could just lovingly release that soul to its own life and not have them in the midst of mine. Somebody give me a glass of water because I'm going to cough here in a second. Thank you. When we look at those characters, then the question becomes, if you could have your ideal, excuse me, thank you, Paula. I'm worthy of applause. Well, you know, here's the thing. Sometimes when I get a tickle, then there are a certain number of coughs that are required. I'm not sure why, but there's no cutting it off. You have to have a certain number of coughs, and then there's a sneeze. It's a mystery. Okay. Who is that character, and how did that character wind up in my life? You know, I used to have a friend. He's passed on now, but many years ago, he loved to, thank you, he loved to have people over for meals. And he had an apron that he had gotten for these occasions that I just loved. And it said on the front of it in big red letters, "Who invited all these tacky people?" So I think it's the visiting frog, you see. This is one of my characters. So, as we look into those characters in our lives, the ones that we love and the ones that we're not quite sure why they're tormenting us, the ones that are in our lives who are in the divine disguise even more so than usual, even more so than the others. Ernest Holmes said in Creative Mind and Success, limitation is the experience of the race, but it is not the fault of God. He's referring to the human race now. It's not the fault of God, it's the fault of man's perception. So in other words, when we're looking at these oddballs who are a little more challenging in our lives, what we're actually doing is we're misperceiving who they are and what their role is. We've misinterpreted it because our human personalities find it challenging or difficult or irritating to encounter and kind of do our life with that other person. I want you to think of somebody in your life who does something that you find difficult. That you find when this person is doing whatever that is, and you start to feel either frustrated or impatient or critical. Now, I'm imagining you can all think of one person. Is that true, or is that just me? Okay, so we got a smattering of people who have somebody in mind anyway. All right, now imagine that irritation, that situation, is there to somehow bless you. Whoa. So what would that mean? So in the process of looking at these people, the question is, who and what do we want in our lives? And I tried to find a picture of like, okay, this is the ideal group of friends. They're sitting around, they're having a meal. Everybody seems to be happy with what they're eating. They seem to be enjoying each other. This is the ideal group of friends. And so the question becomes, who or what do you really want to experience, to see, to invite into your life? So what qualities would you like the people around you in your life to have? Would you like to have an increase of kindness or self-awareness or enthusiasm or peace? What is it that you feel you'd like to have more of in your life and more of in the people around you? What characteristics would you like them to have? Do you want them to have a good sense of humor or high integrity or a social conscience or all those things? What behaviors would you like to see in the people around you? You know, there are, I wish I could remember what the quote is from Ashley Brilliant, who's got all those funny, snarky little comments about life. And one of them has something to do with, don't criticize yourself, I'll do that for you, or something like that. The recognition that we, on the outside, often feel that if we could, if it were allowed, we could adjust the other person and get them right. And then we'd be much happier. And we assume they would be too. Is this true for you? We know what other people need to do, right? We know what would make them right, just like they know what would make us right. So when we look at those things and those behaviors and what beliefs do we want other people around us in our lives to carry? What beliefs do we feel are nurturing and uplifting that we wish that they would carry? Oprah made the comment once, be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you'll never, ever have enough. And what she's bringing to our awareness is that there are, in the midst of the people in our lives who are challenging, there are people in our lives that we take for granted because they're so easy. There are people in our lives that we don't fully appreciate because they're just going along, humming along in harmony with us and with what they're doing and what we're doing. And so we just get comfortable with it. It's the status quo. We don't think to actually appreciate them or thank them because they don't create any bumps in the road to make themselves noticeable. We're so conditioned to look for the challenge or the problem in our media, in our news, in our books, in our movies. A story, a book, a movie has to have a point of conflict and a crisis to resolve so the characters can learn something. So we see that arc, and it happens enough in our own lives too, that we tend to overfocus on those crisis bumps and friction points among us, instead of taking time to really look at who are the people in my life that I am so grateful for, because they're so easy and comfortable and such a blessing and so attuned and aligned, and I love them and it's easy to be with them. Let's think this week about those characters, because Buddha said there are 4 things we can feel admiration and appreciation toward: the good within ourselves, the good within others, the blessings of being born human, and the many advantages and opportunities that you enjoy. I was talking yesterday with an individual who is recovering from cancer surgery, who was saying to me that, my situation is so good. It's so much better than so many people in the world who have a similar situation. My radiation is 10 minutes from my house. It's not 2 hours away. I don't have to drive to another big town or something to get there for that. And she just enumerated for me a whole bunch of different things that she was looking through the lens of blessing at this challenging situation. And I was very inspired by that. And I think about that lens, deciding I'm going to look for, through my prism, I'm going to look for the light and the color instead of the darkness. I'm going to look for what inspires and uplifts me and acknowledge it. One of the reasons that we do tithing as a spiritual practice is because it reminds us of what we have received from the infinite. It reminds us and it causes us to take an action that acknowledges to us and to the infinite, hey, I know I've been spiritually fed. I feel it. I'm grateful for it. And this is my action in response to that, to demonstrate that I know that and to remind me that God is my source. So I give that 10% to the person, place, the organization where I'm receiving my spiritual food. That's a spiritual practice to keep my focus coming back again and again to the fact that I'm being spiritually fed and what channel it happens to be coming through at the current time. And to be thankful for that. There is, I think, a difference between what is and what's missing, or what we perceive to be missing or wanted. And what's missing, the difference between what is and what's missing, is us. We are actually the ones that set the parameters for those characters and experiences in our lives. They come through us. So we can only attract what we are. We can't attract anything else. If we don't have the embodiment of the consciousness of something, we can't attract it into our lives. We can do everything. We can make lists. We can follow suggestions. We can do everything everybody tells us to do. But until we grow into that, we don't really demonstrate it in our lives. Are you following me? Is this making sense? Yes. And now, the good news is, though, we can become more aware of that and more accepting and welcoming of the good that we want. Sometimes it's in our lives, and we miss it completely because we're busy looking for the shadows. Sometimes it's in our lives, and we misinterpret it. So we think we don't have it, or it's not there, or we're not getting it from the other person. But it may not be that it isn't there. It may be that our filters are causing us to misinterpret what's there, and so we're missing it. We have actually created that character we wanted in our lives, but now the character who needs work isn't them, it's us. So as we begin to open to welcome more of that good that we want, and as we embody it and become it, we'll start to see more of it showing up in our lives, in the people around us, and we don't have to do anything to them. They don't have to change at all for that to happen. It's our inner life and perception that will trigger different behaviors and experiences and communications around us, and also the interpretive experience that's happening within us. We can become what we love, what we want to welcome into our lives, what we want to experience more of. In James 1, verse 4, he says, "Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Let perseverance finish its work. Now, perseverance doesn't do its work all by itself. It's kind of like the quote I had from Andy Warhol last week. They say time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself. Perseverance doesn't do itself alone. We're the ones that have to do the persevering. And when we do that persevering in this way of becoming deeper in the good, and we begin to transform into that ourselves, then what's missing suddenly reveals itself to be right there. Like it was right there all the time. We just didn't see it yet. Time to take another look through. Who's out there? How am I interpreting what I'm seeing through that prism of life? Ernest Holmes wrote in The Science of Mind, if we would come to the universal wholeness, we must approach it through the law of its own nature. We find our particular good only through unity with life. This conscious unity makes our mind receptive to completion, since life itself is complete. This perception, he says, is always an inner light. For the individual can use only such knowledge as he inwardly possesses. In reality, we know God or truth only as we ourselves embody God or truth. This knowledge must be an inner light. So, some folks in the world we find cause our light to shine more brightly. Or if we're feeling very depleted, some folks actually light that spark that sets us back aflame again. And one of the tricks to candlelight is that if you want to create more light with candles, you put them in front of a mirror. And it expands the light that's reflected out into the room. So we become the mirrors for each other's light. When somebody's light is noticed by us, when we acknowledge that easy, good person in our life, we magnify, we become the mirror that magnifies the light they're putting out. When somebody does that for us, it lights us up a little bit more when we're seen, when we're appreciated, when we're acknowledged. And we have that gift to give as well. So sometimes a nice cup of coffee is exactly what I want. Just to sit down with a nice cup of coffee. Now, in that cup, we could look at it and say, well, it's almost full, or it's partly empty, or there's coffee in that cup. However we look at it, whatever the lens is that we're looking at it through, that's our embodiment. So we're the embodiment of what's missing. If we want it to show up in our lives, we need to become that and embody it rather than embodying it's missing. And we're also the embodiment of everything good that's in our lives already, everything that's already here. We have drawn that in to our experience. Otherwise, it wouldn't be here. There are not any mistakes. Every single person that's a part of our life has a meaningful role there, just like the folks who were up here on the stage. And this week, the actor attracted the casting director because that was the next thing that she needed in her unfoldment in that scene. And this is what we're doing all the time too. We put the call out to the universe, consciously or unconsciously, and we manifest in our experience then that next character, that next person to reflect something back to us. And they're reflecting back to us something that we have embodied in some fashion. So when we see it in the other person, we admire it, that's a part of us. When we see it in the other person and we don't admire it, that's also part of us. And so what we want to be able to do is be clear, as the casting director was telling the actor in the little scene we saw, be clear about what you want. Be honest and authentic about where you need to grow yourself. How could I be more of that quality I'm wanting to see? How could I even be more of that quality I'm wanting to see when I'm with that other person? Maybe what I'm giving back to them mirrors exactly what they're giving to me. It's the same thing. Maybe it's time for me to make the shift so that that reflection can come back differently. And you know what's interesting about that is sometimes the other person doesn't change at all, and yet what we're experiencing shifts. I think I've told you this story before. When I was in ministerial school, one of our instructors and her husband went to visit her mother. Her husband was not involved in the science of mind, but he did understand what she believed. So they went to visit her mother. Now, her mother had a pair of very ill-fitting dentures. And so when she spoke, she clacked. And she was very talkative. So when they were leaving this particular day, this minister, who was one of my instructors, said, gee, her teeth are just driving me crazy. She's just clacking. It sounds worse than ever. And her husband said, oh, Virginia, she sounds like she always does. Why don't you do that thing that you do so that if you want it to change, why don't you just do that thing you do, right? And so she went home and she did treatment around that experience of being concerned and upset and uncomfortable about her mother's clacking teeth. Okay, fast forward, they visit her mother again. And as they're leaving, Virginia says to her husband, wow, I don't know if she's got new polygrip or what, but that was really impressive today. I don't think her teeth clacked once. That was so amazing. Her husband said, oh, Virginia, they clacked as much as ever. You just didn't notice. Nothing changed on the outside. What changed was the annoyance or the discomfort that was happening on the inside. The treatment didn't fix the other person, and I'm sure Virginia didn't do it to fix the other person, knowing her. But it changed her perception. Her lens suddenly shifted to something else. Maybe she was actually listening to what her mother was saying. Who knows? There's a wild idea. So we want to be clear about what we want. We want to be honest about whether we could actually do more of that ourselves, because maybe we're the ones that need to embody that. And we need to know, what support do I need in order to do that, in order to grow that way? In order to be willing to grow that way and in order to grow that way. Sometimes we recognize that we don't like what somebody else is doing, and we even recognize that it's a reflection of something we do, and we just don't want to bother to do anything different. We just prefer to fix them. And the results are, it never works, because it's always an inside job. So what support, what awareness, what reminders, what accountability buddies do we need maybe to help us? What would help us be more conscious, more aware of what we're choosing there? In the Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz says, the dream you are living is your creation. It is your perception of reality that you can change at any time. Our perception of reality is not the same thing as reality, capital R. So when we're feeling disrupted by what's going on, it may be our perception that needs to shift, or it may be where we're coming from on the inside. In Maxwell Maltz's book, Psycho-Cybernetics, and you'll recall he was a plastic surgeon, one of the things that Maxwell Maltz learned was the power of people's belief, because what he discovered was he could do plastic surgery on someone who felt they needed to change their appearance in order to feel good about themselves. Their nose was too big, or their ears were, their eyes were too droopy, whatever it was. But what he noticed was, if there wasn't a corresponding inner shift, when that surgery was done, it did not change how that person felt. Because it was only external cosmetic. It didn't change what they had embodied. Does this make sense, what I'm saying? Are you guys all still awake? Yes. Okay. Okay, good. So in his book, Psycho-Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz quotes Émile Coué, who was a French pharmacist. It says he astonished the world around 1920 with the results he obtained with the power of suggestion. He insisted on the law of reversed effect. And this is what Émile Coué said was the law of reversed effect. When the will and the imagination are in conflict, the imagination invariably wins the day. So it's easier to imagine ourselves, we trick ourselves into it. We imagine ourselves into a scenario with that difficult person where we feel completely loving and calm, rather than willing ourselves to be patient and not interrupt them, which only makes you want to do it more. Instead, imagine the sense of ease. Imagine the sense of grace. Let it be easy. Let it be gentle. Fall into that place so that we have the opportunity then to embody this realm of characters that we really want to embody. And somebody said once that if you could be with a group of people in the room where everybody took all their problems and put them in a pile in front of themselves, and you could go around and leave yours and pick up anybody's pile in the room that you'd prefer to have, that you would inevitably go back and take your own pile every time. Now, I don't know how we demonstrate the truth of that, but I think it feels like there's a grain of truth there somewhere, that when we come into this life, we have come to learn something. I always like to say we come to learn a lesson and to give a gift. And the best way to learn the lesson is to give the gift. When you give what it is that you love, that you embody, that brings you joy, whatever it is, when you give that, you become more of it. You also will open up along your path a million spiritual growth lessons that seem to live on that same path of what you love. And in order to go from point A to point C, for example, on what you love, you got to go through point B, which might be the sand trap or the water hazard or the rough, to use golf metaphors, which is a game I don't play because I'm so bad at it. So in this week, when you're thinking about your little production planner, and every day you've got a little exercise to do, think about the qualities you want to see more of around you and within you in your life. And each day, take some time to think about that particular aspect and what you would like that relationship to look like. So you're going to choose the people who are characters in your life this week. You're going to write down, well, here's what the relationship currently looks like. Here's what my relationship with, this person or that person looks like. You get to choose who they are. Who's the cast that you're casting? Who's the character that you're casting? And then you give yourself a positive affirmation of what you want to see in relationship to that character. So, for example, I could say, in relationship with my prayer partner, for example, I might say, I have the most intuitive, loving, powerful relationship with my prayer partner that as soon as I hang up the phone, the treatment demonstrates. Whoa, I like that. So you can go through and describe to yourself in affirmation style, what's the description of how you want this relationship to be? And there's an example in here so you can see it as well. And so this is where we start. So I want to invite you to stand and join me in the morning affirmation. All right, here we go. I choose all the people who are in the cast of my life, and I allow them to play their perfect roles. Yes, I allow them to play their perfect roles. I allow myself to perceive the perfection of their roles. I allow myself to embody the perfection of my role at a higher level. So let's take that into prayer. Just in this moment, put your hand over your heart and let's know together that in the divine presence, right here, right now, in this room, This is a place of no mistakes. This is a zone of perfection. Exactly how we are, each one of us, exactly as we are in this moment, is the perfect way for us to be for the next moment's invitation to wake up. It could be no other way. Our pathway has brought us right to this place where we stand now or sit now. We are here by divine right action. And the step that we take next begins to create the future. So right here and right now, we allow the infusion of the divine presence to be the impulsion and the guidance to take that next right step on the sacred path, to go forward from where we are now in the direction of what we want to create, to take a bold, loving step forward, and to take another one on Monday, and to take another one on Tuesday. Because I know right here in this moment that each one of us is a sacred light of God. And our brightness is being stoked and turned up right now. We open our hearts to allow it with great gratitude at the ease and grace with which this light is brightened. We share this light and reflect it back to those around us with peace and gratitude. We let this prayer go knowing that it is already in force, already demonstrating, already happening, because it has always been true about us in the mind of God. So we let this prayer go and we just let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Yes, you may be seated. So I want to let you know we have gone to a completely new system in terms of our database, which also changes the way that we receive offerings. If you send a check, you send a check. That's fine. That doesn't change. That stays the same. But we have changed our text to give number. We've changed our donation page on the website. Now you can donate from the website on any device. It doesn't just have to be your computer. And you can still give through PayPal. So all of these ways are available. And here's the number for those of you that want to be able to donate via text. So it's a new phone number. You just text in your amount and then a space and then say what it's for. It goes to the general fund or it goes to your pledge. And this isn't the pledge for 2022 because we haven't done those yet. So this is your current pledge if you have one. You just say, for example, $50 space pledge. And then when it comes in, the office will process that properly and know where that goes for your credit. So, and that's all there is to it. So that's the phone number, 415-779-7613 for texting to give. But for all the gifts that have come to Golden Gate in this past week, the mailed gifts, the gifts through the website, the PayPal, all of that, we want to bless it all in this room. So I'm going to invite the ushers to come forward now as we prepare to receive the gifts being given here today, and those that are being given by text also today, and all the gifts that have come in this week. And we do that as a community, not only to bless our own gift when we're giving it, but to acknowledge all the gifts and bless those. So please join me in saying, this gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is.
This gift that I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it's creating a world living in love, one heart at a time, one thought at a time. You want to sing that with me once? Embody that message. This gift that I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and prosper. I know that person when you have a little issue. You are the face of God. With your cast of characters. Hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. Now think about the cast of characters in your life and say, you are the face of God. Acknowledge them. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. Just that last line. You are the face of God. Last time. You are the face of God.
So on behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, we do, all of us in this room, receive this offering into the heart of Golden Gate with gratitude and send it forth into the world to spread blessings everywhere it goes. And so it is. Now, if you are with us for the first time this morning, we are so thrilled that you're here. Galen Cooper is standing back at the back waving the welcome packet. Those are available for those of you who are here for the first time. If you pick them up at the table back there, along with any information you'd like to take with you. Inside the packet, you'll find a Signs of Mine magazine and a blue welcome card. Fill this out and hand it to Galen, and she will give you a little book as our gift, as our thank you for being here today. I hope there are some back there. Yep, she's got them. Okay. And that is our appreciation gift for your presence here today. We hope you'll be with us often in the future. We'd like to be your spiritual family. I want to especially thank this morning all of the actors who participated in our little scene. And you'll know that we added Frank Lang this morning as the casting director. Let's acknowledge the cast again this morning. And as well, we thank everybody who was involved in making sure that this morning happened. Thank you all, volunteers. We're really grateful for every one of you. If you're watching online this morning, I want to let you know that there will be a Zoom session following the service this morning. You can see the information on your screen next to me. I think it's over here, though I could be wrong. And what you need is the meeting ID and the passcode, which are on the screen. So when you go to Zoom, open it up, click join, put that info in, the meeting ID and the passcode, and we will see you back here at the back. We're going to set up my iPad back there. So those of you that are here this morning, stop by and say hello to somebody who was watching us online this morning. And we will have that immediately following the service. And then, of course, we come to the time for prayer. So would you ladies come over and bring me the prayer box? And practitioners, would you please surround the room? Now, yesterday and Friday, we had a most wonderful practitioner retreat, a fall practitioner retreat. And some of these people were on Zoom, some of them were online with us. And we had a really wonderful, deep time to come together. And so they're here, always on Sunday, in service for you. Now you'll see, if you see anyone on a Sunday with a stole, one of those white stoles, that is a sign that that person is one of our licensed practitioners. They have taken a good deal of time to study and practice, to learn exactly how to listen to you, and how and what to pray for when you come with a prayer request. They are our sacred circle. They are with me part of the ecclesiastical team, and they are awesome. Most of them have been licensed practitioners for more than 10 years. So they've been doing this for a while. And every Sunday you'll see 2 or 3 of them, sometimes 4, over at the practitioner table. They're available for prayer following the service. And those prayers and those prayer sessions are available free of charge to you. That's their service to you. They are professionals. You can see them for individual appointments. You can set up appointments with them individually. Those are personal professional sessions, and those are paid sessions. But on Sunday, if they're at the table, those are the practitioners in service for prayer, and they will be here for you. So if you don't have time and you put your prayer request in the box, it will be prayed over for a full week. If you want to do both and get a double whammy, that's good too. And check over at the table after the service if you would like to have someone pray with you. And they will take you to the prayer space and have a quiet prayer with you there. But right now, we're going to create a room full of prayer as we're doing a chamber of prayer all around you. And this group that has just been so deeply bonded with each other over this weekend and I are going to speak the prayer for all of us right now. So once again, bringing my attention to the depth of the divine presence right here. Suzanne, and so it is. Thank you, everyone. Please stand and join us now for the benediction and the closing song. As we say together now, I now walk, so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God. And whoever places a hand in mine is lifted. And whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness. For Spirit and all people and I are one eternally. And so it is.
Shine so so bright. Just say, I shine, you shine, you shine, we shine, we shine, I shine, I shine. Put your hands in the air and say, I shine. And so it is.